Long before smartphones, before DSLRs, before film and flash and focus, there was a man who stared into a beam of light and saw more than just brightness. He saw knowledge, he saw patterns, and in those patterns, he saw the future. His name was Abu Ali Alhazen Ibn Al-Haytham. But in the West, he's often remembered as Alhazen, the father of optics, the pioneer of scientific experimentation, and one of the greatest minds in the Islamic Golden Age. Born in the year 965 in the city of Basra, modern-day Iraq, Ibn al-Haytham grew up in a world rich with scholarship. It was a time when the Islamic world led in science, medicine, mathematics, and philosophy. Libraries flourished, scholars debated, and curiosity was celebrated. From a young age, Ibn al-Haytham showed a deep fascination with how the world worked. But he didn't just ask questions, he demanded answers. When he looked at the stars, he wondered about their light. When he looked at water, he questioned how it reflected images. And when he looked at the human eye, he asked, what does it really mean to see? Back then, most people believed in a theory from ancient Greece, that the eyes emitted rays of light that bounced off objects, allowing us to see them. But something about that didn't sit right with Ibn al-Haytham. He believed the truth was the opposite. That light comes into the eyes, not from them. And so he tested it, not once, not twice, but over and over. He used dark rooms, mirrors, lenses, and even water-filled glass spheres to observe how light behaved. He experimented with shadows, angles, reflections, and refractions. What he discovered would reshape the entire field of optics. In his legendary work, Kitab al-Manazir, the Book of Optics, written over 1,000 years ago, Ibn al-Haytham detailed how vision works. He explained how light travels in straight lines, how the eye receives it, and how lenses bend and focus that light. His writings included diagrams, step-by-step observations, and most importantly, a commitment to empirical evidence. But perhaps his most iconic contribution was his explanation of the camera obscura, Latin for dark chamber. Imagine a completely dark room with only a tiny hole in one wall. Through that hole, light from the outside passes through and projects a perfect inverted image onto the opposite wall. Ibn al-Haytham used this setup to prove how light travels and how images are formed, a foundational concept that would eventually lead to the development of photography and modern cameras. But Ibn al-Haytham wasn't just playing with light. He was laying down the method of science itself. He insisted that knowledge should come from observation, not just theory, from experiments, not just ideas. He wrote, "The duty of the man who investigates the writings of scientists, if learning the truth is his goal, is to make himself an enemy of all that he reads. In other words, don't believe blindly. Question, test, observe, repeat." This approach, radical for its time, made him a precursor to the scientific method, centuries before it was formalized in Europe. But Ibn al-Haytham's life wasn't always lived in comfort or support. At one point, he proposed an ambitious engineering project to regulate the flooding of the Nile River. He was invited to Egypt by the Fatimid Caliph to carry it out. But upon arrival, he realized the project was too complex with the technology available. Fearing the Caliph's anger, Ibn al-Haytham feigned madness and was placed under house arrest for nearly 10 years. And what did he do while confined? He wrote. He studied. He experimented. It was during this time that many of his greatest works were born. Eventually released, he continued his studies, writing more than 90 books on subjects including astronomy, mathematics, physics, and medicine. Sadly, only a portion of these works survive today. But their impact echoes across centuries. During the 12th century, his writings were translated into Latin and spread throughout Europe. Thinkers like Roger Bacon, Kepler, and even Leonardo da Vinci were influenced by his insights. Some historians argue that without Ibn al-Haytham, the Renaissance might have looked very different. Today, when we snap a selfie, shoot a film, or peer through a telescope, we are, whether we realize it or not, building on his legacy. Ibn al-Haytham was more than a scientist. He was a thinker, a reformer, and a visionary. A Muslim scholar who fused faith with reason, curiosity with discipline. He believed that seeking knowledge was a form of worship, that understanding the universe was a way to honor its creator. And in doing so, he lit a torch that would pass from generation to generation, across cultures, continents, and centuries. So the next time you pick up a camera, remember the man who first captured the light, not with film, but with his mind. Thanks for watching until the end. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave.
If this video helped you learn something new, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with others. Let's spread knowledge and break down misconceptions together. See you in the next video.